told her day one. Literally, on the honeymoon.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to my channel. My name is Lex, and I would greatly appreciate it if you like the content, if you want to support me, if you want me to keep creating, if you would consider liking, sharing, commenting, or subscribing. It really helps to get the videos out there, and it inspires me to keep creating, suss out the vibes, if you're not sure. I have a lot of content on my channel, so just check it out. Good morning, everyone. Good morning. We're going to talk about Married at First Sight. We are going to talk about Married at First Sight. Season 18, episode 15. Yeah. Let's just jump into it. So we start off hot on the heels of Madison's meltdown of the previous episode. Remember, Madison's guilt ate her alive, and she randomly left the table as Michelle was starting to talk about the situation with her and David. So Carla goes to the kitchen to check up on Michelle.
It's just like, get over it.
No, I mean, you're definitely entitled to your feelings, for sure.
It just doesn't feel like anyone wanted to hear me talk in the moment.
Because Michelle also ends up running away, and Michelle's telling her that she needs a sound bath, that she really can't do all of this, and she starts to really explain that it really hurt her feelings right now how nobody is seemingly listening to her. Now Madison starts to talk about how this is so emotionally draining, she just needs some fun, and again, guilt. The guilt is eating you alive. Madison, you are a bad liar, sis. This entire time. Well, you're not my sis, because nobody that acts like that is my sis, period. So Michelle is dissociating. She is just standing there as all the ladies are kind of talking. They're kind of reflecting back on the situation. And Michelle does start to say, I feel like nobody really wanted to hear my side of things. Everyone lets David talk, but all of a sudden, David and Madison want to shut the conversation down. I felt like nobody wanted to hear my point of view. I felt like nobody wanted to hear what I wanted to say. And I felt that. I definitely understood where Michelle was coming from. Like it or not, everybody else at that table got the opportunity to talk about their relationships, talk about the things they were going through. And especially in the case of Madison, who she and Michelle are friends, it is a little bit weird that you can hear everyone else's stories. You didn't feel uncomfortable and overwhelmed when was talking about Akechi, but all of a sudden you feel overwhelmed when David comes into the conversation. So they're all trying to comfort Michelle and let her know, no, we did want to hear you. We did want to hear your point of view. We just wanted to hear David's side. We're not the type to just chime in. I get it, but I also see where Michelle is coming from. And again, it's the sting of seeing Madison get so overwhelmed off the random. Again, I don't know about y'all, but I have been cheated on before, and I had a suspicion of the person who my partner at the time was cheating on, and I was 100% right. And it was just such an awkward intuition where you just feel that something isn't right. So I can understand where Michelle is coming from in this situation. So Alan and David, they are talking as well. And Alan is like, look, dude, because remember, Alan and David are supposedly friends. So Alan's telling David, look, I don't think you're in the right. I'm not going to condone what you did, but I don't think you're 100% wrong either. Right now, anyway. Ooh, this episode is crazy. So David reiterates again that he just wanted some tender loving care in his relationship. So Camille and Thomas, they old, okay? They are old. Tom is old. He is trying to get ready for bed. Now, Thomas says this drama is a little bit too much for him. He's too old for this drama. He's not trying to deal with this. And Camille does realize that this makes her very grateful that the relationship she has with Tom is not like this. They don't have this fighting. They don't have this drama. So morning time, we get Juan and Carla waking up, and this ADT ad, I'm like, damn, mafs, y'all really ain't got the money? What is this ADT ad? That's all I got. We find out that Carla and Juan are gonna do pottery that day. So David and Michelle. David's outside, and the first thing I thought of was, did David sleep outside again? But everybody is watching from inside, except Tom, who is literally on the side of Camille sleeping. I was like, this man, Tom, he can't hang. So David does apologize yet again to Michelle. He says he was raised really well. This is not who he typically is. You know, he's very sorry for deflecting and talking about what he wasn't getting in the marriage, when in reality, he should have just been taking accountability for everything that he did.
You messed up because I don't try.
Just because those are honest things, it's just like...
But it makes it seem like it's my fault.
I mean, I just...
So Michelle is wondering, why did it take you so long? Okay, you shut every single person out, including me. Other people tried to ask you and you were shutting them out as well. So why did it make, why did you have to sit here and make it seem like you're blaming me for your F up? And I agree. Once again, the lack of accountability. You have every excuse in the book for why what you did is okay. And at the end of the day, it's not okay, David. If you didn't want to be with Michelle, all you had to do was say this is not working. But you wanted to be Mr. Nice Guy on our cameras. David says he was looking for his ride or die, blah, blah, blah. And Michelle is like, so was I. He said he needs affection, that, he's not as strong as he made himself seem, that it was really hurting him way more than he let on to. And once again, David, it is too late. It is too late because you did what you did. Had you come at the beginning and just been honest, everybody would have been on your side. Everybody would have understood you. But you don't get to cheat, lie, gaslight, manipulate, and then try to come back and say, oh no, I wasn't getting the affection I needed. It don't work like that, David. Sorry. So Michelle, once again, is like, why did you flip this to me? I don't understand why I had to take the blame for you. So Michelle, once again, is like, okay, but why did you have to flip the conversation to how much I was trying in the marriage? Did you feel like I was trying, or did you feel like I wasn't trying? And David's like, look, I lied. I don't feel like you were trying. I never felt like you were trying. So Michelle brings it back to Tiffany and she's like, so how am I supposed to believe this Tiffany story? You clearly lied that you thought I was trying in the marriage. And again, Michelle, this is where Michelle starts to irritate me, because Michelle is also playing on semantics. Obviously, David is 150% in the wrong. And by the end of this episode, I am 100% on Michelle's side. I do not care. But she does try to bring it back again. She's like, okay, so if you lied about thinking that I was trying, how am I supposed to believe this Tiffany story? You admitted once again that you lied. So how am I supposed to believe this? He says I was texting her for like a week and a half. If you don't believe me, too bad. That is on you. Michelle, she's like, so why am I supposed to believe you, David? Why am I supposed to believe what you're saying? He once again reiterates that he was not getting what he needed in the relationship. He wasn't getting what he needed at home. So if she doesn't believe it, that's on her. That's always David's response. If you don't believe it, it's on you. And once again, David, you are a terrible liar. Terrible liar. Terrible. Can't lie for nothing. So Michelle asks, can I see your phone? Okay, because I don't believe that there was any picture here. So if there's a picture, it should be easy enough to show me your phone and show me the picture, because I still don't believe there's a Tiffany and I still don't believe there is a picture. David's like, I deleted her contact info. I told you already that I deleted her contact info after the situation happened. Okay, I felt guilty and I deleted it. Michelle, how convenient that you deleted it, David. Yes, David, I agree with Michelle. How convenient that you don't have anything. Liar. So David asks, what did you want from me? Okay, what is it that you want from me? And she said to commit to the marriage. Michelle, don't start lying again. Don't start lying again. So Michelle, and Camille. Michelle is filling in the ladies, sans Madison, of course, on what happened.
It's just hard because Alan is now involved.
I know. She means a lot to him, like whether she reciprocates that or not.
Right.
So she's telling the girls that I don't think there's a Tiffany. I don't really believe that whole thing. I really think it's Madison. I don't have any real proof, but I just have a sneaking suspicion because Carla, David, Madison, and Alan at some point, they were all together that night. things just feel weird. And Madison walked away at dinner yesterday because it was too much. But she didn't walk away, when you were talking about Akechi, so I don't understand what all of a sudden was too much for her. Now, Camille is saying, so ask her, you have to talk to her. is also saying, ask David. So basically, the plan's concocted that she's going to confront both of them individually and see what they say. Now, Madison and Alan, we get a car cam of Madison saying, oh, we're going to go do something today because the energy is way too heavy at the house. And she goes to do bumper cars with Alan. So after they are talking, Alan is revealing that he used to do bumper cars every year for his birthday. It was $20. So it was really fun to do that the whole day. Alan brings up that decision day is very close.
We got to work on it, but, given the short amount of time, I don't know. I guess that's just been on my mind a little bit.
So he's aware that they need to work on their chemistry. But since it's such a short time, it's really been on his mind. And he is curious, is there any way that there is a yes on decision day? He essentially flat out asked Madison, is there a way that you fall into me, that you try, that you lean in, that you take that chance on us, and on decision day, it is a yes? Madison, of course, evades the question, and she gives some gobbledygook about how they've made great progress. She is aware that it's a short period of time. And so she claims there is a part of her that would be willing to take that chance after decision day, but there's a lot to think about. She says, I'm Switzerland right now. I'm just kind of in a neutral space. I'm not sure. I'm just enjoying the good times. Alan in the confessional finally says it is in Madison's court. The ball is in her court. If she wants to be with him, she has to be the one to lean in. And this lady, for some reason, is providing false hope. And keep in mind how in this conversation right here, right now, this is Alan giving Madison the opportunity to say, hey, I'm not feeling this. I don't really want to continue this. Decision day is what? At this point, I think it's 3-4 days away. This is Madison's chance. Let's keep going. So Juan and Carla, they do a pottery class. I actually thought this was a very cute scene between them.
But slower. That's a good start.
Do you pull out when you're going down?
No. Here, let me try to open them.
And I always say, if Juan was actually attracted to Carla, they'd probably be a really good couple because they have great banter, they have good friendship. I do feel like their personalities mesh. Now, Juan does claim that last night was very difficult, so he is very grateful that even though the relationship he has with Carla is not perfect, it ain't like that. Okay, it ain't like that. He is grateful for the bond that he has built with her. Juan is loving this pottery class. He is Mr. Pottery. He's telling Carla, build your mountain like this. Okay, put it in now. Pull it out now. And I'm like, do you hear how this sounds, Juan? Okay. On After Party, they replayed the scene. And Juan's like, whoa, I didn't know it sounded like that. But Juan claims that he realizes that this all makes him realize that things can grow. Carla does realize that Juan shows love by making people laugh. Once again, if there was a chance for these two, I would be rooting for them because I do feel like their personalities do go together. So meanwhile, back at the mansion, Madison and David are taking shots in the kitchen. Just the two of them. Talk about it's been a hard day. It's been a hard time. Let's pull up real quick. And Michelle sees them in the kitchen as she's walking upstairs. So Thomas and Camille, they are in the hot tub. Camille does realize that they only have a few more days until decision day, but this does really make her excited for life after. I'm rooting for y'all too. You guys are the only couple that has a chance here. So Tom is asking Camille, are you ready to be a parent? And Camille says about 2-ish years for her, but she can definitely see herself being someone's mom. She does feel like she's at a point in her career where she can both grow her career and be a good mom. So for Camille, being a mom has always been one of her dreams. It's always been something she wanted to do, but she hasn't been in a relationship with anyone recently in a long, long time where that has actually made her want to do that. So she asked Tom, like, why did you wait, till you did? Tom's 42. Tom admits that he was really scared to have a kid, and that's why he doesn't have any yet. For him, babies are fragile, but also you are responsible for shaping that child into who they will be in the future. So if you mess up, if you make mistakes, it does fall back on you. So they both kind of realize that with kids, life isn't as flexible. They won't be able to travel as much. And for Camille, this does contribute to this 2-year limit for her. She wants to be able to enjoy her partner, travel, enjoy life, get out of debt, spend more money on themselves. And I totally respect and agree with that. I do think that it is good to enjoy being married. I also think in this process, you guys just met. It's very different if you were dating for 7 years and then you get married and then you have a baby in a year. But in their case, they've literally only known each other for 8 weeks. So there's no real reason to rush into a kid. I was really happy that they both seem to be on the same page with this kind of thing. Alan and Michelle. So Alan, he goes up to the room and he's like, hey, can I talk to you for a second? And Michelle's like, give me 1 minute. So they go outside to have a bit of a chat. He is trying to comfort Michelle because he does realize some of what's going on with Michelle. And he says that this is something that has happened to him in previous relationships. So he just really wants to make sure that Michelle is doing okay. And again, Alan, he's a really sweet guy. He has a really sweet heart. He seems very empathetic. So I really feel bad for where this went for Alan.
Missed the conversation like super quickly. Like, okay, I guess like nobody cares like about like wanting to hear like my point of view. And I didn't know if that was because like nobody.
So he does realize that most people at the table wanted to drop the conversation, as Michelle was saying. And he just really wants to ask her side of things. And I love that because honestly, as I said, feel how you want to feel about Michelle. This man still cheated on her, lied to her, gaslit her and the entire group. So I think Michelle deserves to be able to say her side. So Michelle does reiterate that she felt like nobody really wanted to hear her point of view. And she even realized that David was trying to shut down Alan when he was trying to speak. So Alan does reassure her that she has every right to feel the way that she does. He shares that for him and Madison, they did get to a low point at some point, and it really hurt him when he realized that he hurt her. So for him, this really made him realize that he has a bit of a spot in his heart for Madison. It would really, really hurt him if he lost her. And he really does realize genuinely how much he cares about her. Now, Michelle asks, hey, did David tell you that he was texting other people? I was like, no, I had no idea about that. So Michelle is like, well, you were with him the night this happened, so I'm just wondering if you saw anything. Alan apparently did not realize that that was all in the same night. So he's like, am I missing something here? And this is when the seeds start to be sowed that there might be a little bit something going on with his wife. Okay, so Michelle is basically lays out, there's no photo, I believe. I don't think that happened. It honestly comes off to me like maybe he saw someone at the bar and he texted that message to her immediately. I don't think there's a Tiffany. I don't think there's a photo. Alan says, hey, I didn't notice anything weird, so I really don't think that you should worry about the details. Okay. So they play this game, who's the most likely to insert thing here. So the first question is, who is most likely to be offed in a horror movie? And David says Michelle and gives no reason. I'm like, David, get it together. So they ask, who is the most likely to have a orgy? Okay, Juan says Carla because she wanted to have a group tantra session. Now, they asked some kind of question about latex play, and nobody knows what that is except Alan. And I'm like, Alan, hold up now. Why you know what that is? So, most likely to get caught cheating. Michelle says David because he did. Madison takes a shot at that moment. She is once again starting to feel nervous. Madison, you are a terrible liar. Every time the spotlight comes on, go, go, go. Or, oh my God, I can't take it anymore. I couldn't take Madison anymore this episode, y'all. So Everyone says David, except for Thomas, who says himself. And he's like, whoa, whoa, whoa. It didn't say most likely to cheat. It just said most likely to get caught. And I did. All right, Tom. So now they ask, most likely to swap partners. Madison says MM. And I was like, hold up. Skirt. You should have put yourself, sis. And Juan says Madison. So Michelle then gets up from the game. She is once again starting to feel overwhelmed, and Alan goes back to the kitchen to talk to her. So Michelle basically is telling Alan, I have some suspicions. I really have a hunch about things, but I don't really know if I'm ready to admit them.
And I'm not ready to blow it up yet.
Yeah,
Because I don't want to look like I'm insane.
And Alan is like, I do want to know who it is. Who is it? He says he did not realize that everything happened the night they were out. And he knows that there was no other woman there. Basically, it was really only the circle of them that was out. Carla, Madison, Alan, David. It was all of them. There was no other woman. So Alan's wheels are starting to turn, and he is definitely starting to get paranoid. And we see Alan's cooking again, okay? Alan is cooking, and he's shaking because he's starting to put things together. So he did not see David talking to anyone. It was just their circle. So Alan's now asking Michelle, do you know anything? Now, Michelle once again says that she has some kind of gut suspicion, but she's really not sure if she's ready to go down that rabbit hole. Alan once again reiterates that he did not see David talking to anyone, but he did end up leaving early. Now, Michelle remembers that Carla and Madison, they went to a second place, and David was also there too. And Alan's like, wait, David was there? I didn't know that he had showed up that night. So Alan starts saying, I can't really see Madison and David together. Like, that's not something I could see. You could tell he's trying to convince himself. But again, he got the spatula, he got a fist in one hand, the spatula in the other hand, he's shaking. And honestly, like I said, if you've never been cheated on, thank God. But if you have experienced cheating, I think you can really relate to that gut-wrenching feeling that you get. Kind of that moment where you realize something ain't right. That moment where you put it all together in your head and you don't have the evidence right then and there, but that hunch is so strong and it just kind of hits you so hard. That feeling is the literal worst feeling. And in that moment, I really wanted to cry for Alan. I really, really did, because he was in the dark. As I said, Michelle had her suspicions. She had the intuition, but Alan was in the dark. Remember, just earlier this day, they had went to bumper cars, and he's asking Madison, and Madison is still giving that false hope that there might be a chance between them. Ooh, oh my gosh, I felt so bad for him. I really felt so bad for him. So Michelle is asking, do you know if they have each other's phone numbers, Madison and David? And Alan says he's not sure, because Michelle realizes once again that they work out together, they plan their gym dates. Now, Alan didn't even think about that, but Michelle does talk about how she realizes that the M and the M could have gotten mixed up and the message was sent to the wrong place. Michelle lays it out. Look, there was no picture. I do not think there was a picture, but I feel like I could be wrong though. Alan says, my gut is telling you that you're wrong. My gut is telling you that you're wrong. But he starts to choke back tears and he starts to get really upset. And Michelle is like, why are you getting upset though? Why are you getting upset if you don't think it's true? Why are you getting upset if you don't think it's true? You know, what's going on? Look, I could be wrong. I could be wrong. I don't know, you know, and Alan is like, I put so much trust into Madison. I trusted her heavily. She's got a spot in my heart. I was just telling her today how much I care about her. I understand Michelle wanted to get information, but I do feel like I'm not sure that this was exactly the right moment to present it to Alan. But then again, I don't know when or if there's ever a right moment to kind of present that your partner is cheating on you and you have a suspicion that that's happening. So Michelle pulls Madison aside to talk, and Michelle is basically like, look, the story has changed multiple times. I don't believe there's a Tiffany. I don't believe there's a photo. He hasn't shown any kind of proof of any photos, so it's just not adding up.
And then we left. So, do you have his number? Like, do you have his phone number? Okay.
Yeah.
Because you guys like work out together, right?
Yeah. Like I've
In my mind, I saw, I feel that David saw someone across the bar and texted her. She's laying this all out to Madison, all of the different evidence. And Madison, you could tell she's nervous. You could tell she is nervous. She's kind of doing a weird smile. She's fidgeting her fingers. You could definitely tell that Madison she's about to start sweating. She is about to start sweating. So Michelle is like, look, I know you were with David, or I know David was with you that night. So what's the message for you? Flat out ask her. Madison nervously, it shouldn't have been. Michelle's like, look, it shouldn't have been. Was it or not? And I love that, because cut the crap, cut the bullshit. Excuse the cussing. Cut the bullshit. It shouldn't have been. What do you mean? Was it for you or not? And Madison, once again, responds the same way. It shouldn't have been. Why would it be for me? I don't know. Why would it be? Madison claims that she hardly saw David that night, just 15 minutes, and he left. So Michelle asks Madison, do you have his number? And she's like, well, yeah, I do. I mean, I've texted him here and there about planning gym dates and stuff, but that's about it. So Madison's like, do you want to see my phone? Like, I have my phone here. And Michelle's like, no, I shouldn't have to. I mean, hey, I just wanted to clear the air, but if there's nothing, there's nothing. Madison. And cheaters, they always, because as I said, in the situation I was in, the person, they wanted to show me their phone all the time. No messages. No messages. Everything will always be deleted. Sure, you want to show the phone when you know you've already deleted everything. Y'all probably talk on Snapchat or something where the messages get deleted. Play in someone else's face, Madison. Don't play in everybody's face, and play in Michelle's face too. So Michelle does clock in the confessional that Madison's response was very weird. If the answer was no, you would have just said no. Exactly. It shouldn't have been? Girl, your answer would have been like, what are you talking about? If one of my friends texted me today and said, hey, was this message from my man meant for you? I would be like, what the F are you talking about? What do you mean? No. Like, huh? Weird ass response. So after this very awkward conversation, Michelle, goes over to Camille and MM to fill them in on everything that happened. And everybody's just really starting to clock that this makes no sense. So Madison and Alan, she goes into the bedroom to check on Alan, because at this point, Alan is basically having a panic attack. He's about to crash out, understandably so. So he's in the bed. He clearly does not want to talk. Madison's like, what's wrong? Oh my God, what's wrong? Alan's like, he doesn't say anything. He's like, get the heck away from me. Like, honestly, like, Madison, we're so tired of the fake care that you have. You are the fakest bee on this show. Okay, we talk a lot about image curating, and David, he showed his colors. But Madison is the fakest person on this show. She tried to curate this image so bad that she's so honest, so real. Everybody, oh, Alan, you're so great. Alan, you're so this. Madison pissed me the F off this episode, y'all. I hate people like this. It made me so mad. Y'all, I crashed out while watching this show last night. But Matt works. Alan's like, I'll be down in a minute. Please give me some space. Like, give me a little bit of time. So Michelle, she goes to talk to David, and she's like, can we talk for a minute? So she basically says, I have one more question for you. Straight up. David's like, I thought I was done with this conversation. I said I was done with this conversation. I don't want to talk about it. And Michelle's like, well, I'm not. And this is the crazy thing about cheaters and liars, is that they feel like they can just shut down and dictate when the conversation happens because they don't want to have to admit their wrongs. I loved how Michelle continued to put her foot down and said, well, I'm not done with this conversation because there's two of us in this marriage. And you don't get to lie and then decide you're going to shut down and not say anything. So Michelle straight up asks David, was the text for Madison? David responds, no.
Was that message meant for her?
No.
are you curious as to why I come up with that? Like, if it was me, I'd be like, when someone threw something ridiculous out there, I'd be like, oh my God, no. You're like,
Because I told you I was done with that.
And Michelle's like, so you're not gonna ask why I feel that way? That's your response? Just no? You don't even care? You're not gonna ask what I'm on to? You're not gonna ask why I feel that way? You're not gonna question what reasoning? He's like, look, the text is not for Madison. Like, I literally do not care. It's on you. You can believe whatever you want to believe. If you believe the text is for Madison, oh well, it's not for Madison. David, you're an asshole. Straight up. David's like, I don't care. Get out of my face. Ciao. David is done with this conversation. So Madison and Michelle have another conversation. So Madison is asking Michelle, why have I been brought into this? Again, pretending to be innocent. Why have I been brought into this? This is your stuff. I don't understand. Michelle says, because I know that Carla and you were with David that night. She's like, why aren't you asking MM or all the other girls about this? So Madison's like, okay, did you ask Carla the same question? And Michelle is like, no, because I know that you are David's type. I know that he would go for you. And she's like, what, blonde? And Michelle's like, yeah. Like, Michelle brings up how Madison's reaction was very strange earlier. Typically, if somebody asks you a question and the answer is no, especially a question out of left field like that, you're like, oh my God, like, what are you talking about? Like, you would have a very strong reaction. Madison's like, I can't help how I respond. Like, I'm sorry. I couldn't help my response. I don't know. Madison once again offers to bring in her phone. So Michelle this time takes the phone.
and then I literally point blank asked her, said, well, I don't think so. I'm just asking.
I know, and I'm not hiding anything from you, Michelle.
Okay.
Like, but you don't seem to believe it.
I'm confused. I'm more confused.
Madison brings in her phone. She shows her Instagram. You can see through the blur. She's like, see, no messages with David. Everything's cleared. Then Madison proceeds to go through her text messages and she's like, there's no messages from David, see? And Michelle's like, but you told me earlier that you text about going to the gym. So do you guys text or not? Why is there no messages? Everything is deleted. Madison and David are the worst liars on the planet. They are the literal worst liars on the planet. And I don't remember if Michelle said this on After Party or if she said it on the show, but she said, nothing is gone from your phone unless you delete it. And that's facts, no printer. The only time I confronted someone about something and all the messages were deleted for someone is because they were doing something nefarious. You don't delete messages unless you have a reason to. iPhones do not delete messages out of nowhere. You don't just have no message thread with somebody unless you deleted all the messages. Michelle, once again, confronting Madison. Do you see how weird this is? And she straight up tells her, I don't believe you. And at this point, I know Madison done texted David and said, enough is enough. We need to come clean. We are going to stage a scene and make sure that we come clean because I'm not going to do this with you anymore. I know that guilt ate Madison alive in this conversation. And it was in this very moment that Madison realized she could not keep hiding and lying and pretending that she and David do not have a relationship. So the producer comes up to Madison after the fact because she goes into a room to cry and play victim again. And the producer's like, is there any truth to this? And Madison's like, I don't know. I never wanted to hurt anyone. This is going to tear Alan to pieces. Absolute menace. Menace. Madison, you are a menace. This man earlier today asked you if there was a chance and you said yes. And even if you were not going to admit the cheating, which of course you should, you had the opportunity to say, no, I don't really think it's going to go there. And you lied. ooh, I don't like Madison. So Michelle is filling Carla in on everything that went on because Carla and Juan, they've been outside playing the guitar, just talking, chatting. And so she's letting Carla know about how David is texting Madison and she confronted both of them and she just doesn't like the answers. And Carla's like, oh my God. Oh my God, I didn't know that. Carla is in shock, complete and utter shock. So David and Madison. Madison goes over to David's room at 10:27 p.m. I don't know why they put a timestamp, or it's 10:57. She knocks on the door and is like, hey, can we talk for a minute? And as I said, at this moment, y'all are the worst actors in the world. Y'all are the worst actors in the world. She goes to the room and she asks, can we talk for a second? David claims he's trying to sleep, but he gonna be down in a minute. So basically, Madison fills David in on the fact that Michelle has been pulling her over for these chats, asking her, about if they've been texting. And at this point, Madison says she needs to be honest. So she pretends to tell David that she has feelings for him.
You're like so my wife, but go ahead.
Yeah. And, probably more than I should.
What the is going on there?
And I know that it's messy, and I think that this could be something
That it's been deeper. They've been hanging out at the gym, but she's been feeling more. And at this point, she basically admits that she can no longer go on with Alan. For her, she knows she can no longer go on with Alan. She really just needs to come clean and tell the truth. David's like, oh my God. Oh, wow. I wasn't expecting this. I was sleeping. Oh my God. I was sleeping. I wasn't expecting that. Whoa. Oh my goodness. Worst acting in the world. Y'all are terrible actors. So David, he also says, for me, it's been stronger as well. And I know that I do not have that same connection with my wife. I also know that I can't really go on anymore. For him, he's been feeling things the same way. Okay, he was not expecting to get woken up for this. So he also knows that that connection is something that he can no longer repress either. So David says that he realizes this is not fair to Michelle either. Guess it started in the gym. Like I said. So Madison does say that she wants to keep getting to know each other. For her, she didn't come here to make friends. And even though they came to make friends, they came to find love. And even if it was in this unconventional way, they're still gonna go for it. David says he could see Madison being his ride or die, and he admits that the text was supposed to be for him. And Madison's like, I never received it though. Oh my God, I didn't know. And he's like, yeah, I know, because I sent it to my wife. Yeah, you fucking idiot. You sent it to your wife. These two were cheating the entire time. The whole time. The whole time. And they were going to go till decision day. I know Madison wanted to go till decision day and then pretend that, during the show we realized, or a little bit after the show we connected. No, Madison wanted to go to decision day, and I know she was pissed that David's messy ass could not keep the lie going. That David's messy ass had to text Michelle instead of her. And I know that Madison told David, I'm not doing this anymore if we don't admit that this is a thing. So now you have this little fake scene of Madison pretending to admit her feelings to David. Y'all have been together the entire time. Since that honeymoon where y'all were hanging out at the gym, you guys have been together. You slimy MFs. Disgusting people. Absolutely disgusting. And again, the gaslighting of it all, the audacity to be for Madison to be acting like, Michelle, why are you bringing me into this? This isn't my stuff. Oh my God, I have nothing to do with this. Why are you confronting me? Why didn't you confront the other girls? David, the audacity. You don't even care, Michelle. You didn't even care about this marriage. Oh my goodness. Why are you questioning me so much? If you don't believe me, that's on you. The audacity of these two slimy ass I told y'all this show made me crash out yesterday. I really hate cheating, and I hate people who cheat and gaslight everybody. I hate people who cheat and then try to put it on their partner. And the crazy thing is, them two are gonna stay together out of spite, but that relationship ain't gonna work. That relationship ain't going nowhere, but they gonna be like Tyler and Ashley and sure stay together out of spite. Because they know the minute that breakup comes to light, the hate is never gonna stop. So, David then goes to talk to Alan. He asks Alan, hey, can we talk for a little while? David basically admits to Alan that he and Madison have had a connection that she and Alan do not have, and that he does not have with Michelle.
You can say me.
No, her. Every day. Do you know? Every
is trying, bro.
every I don't give a. They say every day. This is something that I saw, and I asked. I struggled. I tried to.
They never had anything physical. Things have just started to flow together naturally. Alan asks when. When did this happen? David says, the gym, we've been working out together. We started to make a connection there. They both tried to David claims they both tried to figure out what was going on in their respective relationships, but they just started to build this connection and they don't know what happened. Alan is like, I saw you as a friend. And David's like, I still see you as a friend. He's like, fuck you. Alan says, F you. And I was like, yes, sir. Don't ever come in my face talking about something you my close friend. And you are effing my wife. You are plotting on my wife. You are lying to my face. And you are with my wife. F you is correct. Alan once again talks about how he put so much trust into Madison, but he knew from day one that something was wrong. He knew from day one that he was not the kind of guy that Madison wanted, but he continued to push. Even behind the scenes, Alan said that he gave Madison multiple outs. Because I know some people be trying to talk about how Alan's a simp and he's just obsessed with her. But again, even behind the scenes, he tried to have private conversations with this woman and say, hey, if you don't want to be with me, just let me know. Alan says that he told Madison, if the minute you know you don't want to be with me, just let me know and we do not have to keep this going. But she lied and BS the entire time. David says, no, she didn't. David, shut the hell up. What you mean, no, she didn't? Yes, she did. David's like, well, Madison will always talk about you and like you would always come. Alan's like, I don't give a fuck. David proceeds to say that Madison knows him better than his own wife does. David said, Alan once again reiterates, I knew from day one something was going on. David tries to say, well, I was in the same position. We were both hearing each other out. We were giving each other advice. We were both in the same place. David tries to claim that they are platonic friends. And Alan flat out asks, do you see something with Madison? You said you have a connection, so do you see something with her? David says, if I'm keeping it 100%, yeah. He says, then I'm done. F you. If you think it will work, more power to you. He leaves. Alan's better than me. Yeah, this is YouTube, so I'll leave it. Alan is way better than I am. And notice how Madison was such a coward. Madison is a coward. She runs out in every single conflict. When the heat is on her, Madison cannot be anywhere. She runs from the table. She runs away from Alan when they have fights. Even in this situation, she needed to have David David is not married to Alan. You are, Madison. And you couldn't even have the nerve to go tell your husband that you have feelings for somebody else, that you want to end it. You had David do it. And then as as Alan is coming in the house, Madison's at the top of the stairs, peering up. Does he want to have a conversation? Does he want a conversation? Alan goes in, kicks the cabinet, throws his drink, and Madison's like, I guess not. And then she goes, hides in the bathroom. Pussy ass bitch. She goes and hides in the bathroom. Coward. You are such a coward. You can't even be a grown adult woman and go tell your partner that you want to be with someone else. You have to have the man that you're cheating with tell your husband, are you okay, Madison? Are you okay? Are the brain cells working? Oh, I'm getting heated watching this joint again. Talking about this joint again. So Alan walks out of the house. He is very, very upset. He's starting to walk down the street. He says he's going to go home. MM does come out afterwards and try to comfort Alan.
Day one. Literally. On the honeymoon. What's going on? What's up?
Because obviously she's also been going through it. She understands. She's really trying to comfort him. Alan is once again reiterating that he knew from day one that something was off, and he gave her so many outs and she lied the whole time. And again, that really hit home for me because again, I've been in a relationship like that where I knew something was going on and I gave the person so many outs. And they lied every time. And people like that, they like to break you down so bad that you choose to leave the relationship so they can play the victim. So I really understood where Alan was coming from and talking about how I tried to ask her. And she's reassuring me, no, it's not like that. I've been there. And that stuff hurts. He talks about how he spent $3,000 on those clothes. I couldn't believe he bought the clothes. I could not believe he bought the clothes. He spent $3,000 on them clothes and he bought that Invisalign. Yeah, no. Juan also comes out at some point and he's telling Alan to keep his integrity and to not basically crash out. And I'm like, Juan, STFU, okay? You always want to be the middle ground guy. This is not the time for that. So Alan starts to pack up his stuff when he gets inside. Michelle and Juan come to the room. Michelle is like, I'm so sorry. I really didn't know, Alan. I really didn't know it was going to be like that. I knew nothing. All I had was a hunch. I really didn't know it was like that. You know, I really didn't know that it was going to be this way. But Alan starts to pack up. Production does drive him home. Thank God, because he was definitely a little drunk. So production drove him home or to a hotel or something. He didn't stay in the house. And again, that coward Madison. So Alan leaves. And as soon as Alan leaves, David comes back inside. So notice, coward David is sitting outside. Coward Madison is hiding in the bathroom. Michelle is like, so do you want to say something to me? Because David just tries to walk on by her.
Okay, kept saying, it's truth, it's honest, take my word for it. I'm an honest guy, I'm a great guy. You still think that?
Oh, I still think I'm a great guy because I know I am. Because I
Okay.
never try to maliciously lie. You just ask me and I'm owning up to it.
After you just put me down, but got it. Thank you for that. Okay.
And David's like, I apologize for everything. She's like, for what? What are you apologizing for? David says, for everything, for Tiffany, the text, for lying, for the connection I have with Madison. They start to go back and forth for a little bit. And she's like, so you effed my friend? He's like, I didn't F your friend, Michelle. He claims once again, you know, Madison asks me questions every day. You don't ever ask me anything, Michelle. You don't. David, grow up. You are not the victim here. I don't care if Michelle didn't ask you no questions. You know, the funny thing is, I low-key let all the other reviewers on this joint gaslight me into thinking that I was mean about David. I knew that man was dusty from the beginning. When that man lied about that basement, that told me how dusty he was. And I let all y'all reviewers make me think maybe I'm being mean to him. Maybe I need to be a little nicer to him. No, I was right the whole time. I am listening to my intuition on these shows, period. David is dusty. Madison, you're a party bitch. You're a party girl. You want to cry and whine because nobody thinks highly of you? Yeah, because you're a cheating, lying party girl, babe. People don't think highly of you because the behavior you present makes you look bad. And Alan clocked you along with everybody else. Ooh, I don't like these two. Anyway, we are going to be recapping After Party tomorrow. Michelle, MM, and Juan, and somebody else. I'm forgetting the fourth person. They were on After Party. They talk a little bit more about everything that happened at the retreat. But if you made it to this point of the video, that means you liked the video. So I would greatly appreciate if you would consider subscribing to the channel by liking, sharing. Consider supporting the channel by liking, sharing, commenting, and subscribing. It really helps to get the videos out there, and it inspires me to keep creating. Let's talk in the comments. Did you know this was happening? Did you suspect they were the couple that swapped? How do you feel about it all? Do you feel bad for David or Madison at all? If you do, I got some questions. Let me know what you guys think about the episode. We will talk tomorrow for After Party. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will talk to you in the next one. Bye.